Still Movements was my first book, self-published in 1977, while still working at the photographic magazine Aktuell Fotografi. It's a collection of photographs from Sweden and the UK. The book was made 3 years after moving from London to Lund in Sweden. Peter Turner, who I got to know while he was still working at Creative Camera, had started a publishing and distribution company called Travelling Light. Peter bought and sold copies of Still Movements, and they travelled far and wide. At least one copy of Still Movements ended up in Australia. When the book was laying on the table of a guy who was friends with an old friend of mine, Joe Feller from Klippan, who'd emigrated to Australia back in 1967. Joe picked up the book and said to his friend, "I used to know a guy called John Webb." As he was looking through the book, he recognised my back garden, for instance. And he later contacted me. It was this occurrence that made me believe in how photographs and books can travel and link people and their life experiences. This is long before the internet and social media, when even telephone calls around the world cost a fortune and were charged per minute. A book you make has an independent life of its own. You can never really know who is going to see it. The photographs in Still Movements were almost all made with my wooden Gandolfi view camera. A camera on a tripod with the lens stopped down to its minimum aperture, a tiny f/64. By comparison, the minimum aperture or iris on a digital camera today is f/16 or f/22. This meant that the exposures were long, and often there would be blurring movement in the final image. The book was printed first in 1,000 copies on matte paper. The paper had a fault in it, so that some pages were mottled, unevenly printed. The printer reprinted the book free of charge on glossy paper instead. Of the 2,000 copies that were printed, I have 5 copies left today.